Hello and welcome to episode 4 of my journey with the Enchanted Map Oracle Card Deck by Colette Baron Reid as illustrated by Jenna Della Grataglia. And again, here's the deck. Sorry about the reflection, maybe you can see it there. And yesterday I pulled Slow and Steady. One of these days I'll get the hang of how to show you the cards so that you could actually see them. Yeah, I'll work on that, folks, sorry. And I did pull this in the protection reverse position, so again, it was a little extra medicine. And on the last episode, I talked about a dream I had that as I was reading in the book about this card, the dream came to mind where I can't put the brakes on my car. I'm driving and there's construction and lane changes and my seat's not adjusted right. And it's a very difficult navigation. And I see a big red light and a woman attempting to cross the street. And honestly, it was as if she was waiting until the exact moment where she knew I was going to go through that intersection and I hit her. She looked right in my eyes and I hit her. And I thought, well, that was kind of a deep thing to talk about and to share. And interestingly, my journaling was pretty much around that dream and this card. In particular, it says, apply the brakes and become more aware of what is happening in the moment. That simple sentence, small sentence, made a world of difference for me. And I did a lot of journaling and meditating around that. And, in my dream, I believe that the people I dream about, the scenarios, are reflections of myself or components of me. So, I'm standing there looking right at me and I don't apply the brakes. I can't find the brakes to stop in the moment and be aware of what's happening. That was pretty profound for me. Having that dream that morning and then pulling this card that says, slow the fuck down and look at exactly what's going on. And we talk about this. It is so hard to put into practice. Again, in such an impulsive, addictive, fast-paced society, to sit and be with your thoughts, to know what your thoughts are, and to breathe and just to focus on right here, right now. What is right in front of me? Because that is all there is right here, right now, in that moment. So I found this simple, slow and steady card, this simple sentence to be very unearthing for me. It unearthed a lot of treasures. I've had an emotionally and spiritually painful past 24 hours. However, I look at those situations as opportunities for growth. A lot of emotions, a lot of tensions, and I just kept thinking of this card and visualizing it, and was, as emotions would build, or as my breathing would increase, I'd be like, okay, slow and steady. Try to step back. Try to step outside of myself and see myself. Like in the dream, I saw myself, but I ran right over myself. So good stuff, good stuff. Today, before I pull my card, I wanted to talk a little bit about why the map, what's different about this deck, and what was so profound for me when I read the book, which, by the way, there's been a little confusion. The book that I'm referring to does not come with the deck. So this is a book that Colette wrote and sells separately the map is based on, the deck is based on the book, but within the deck of cards, you get the little guidebook. Okay, so the guidebook goes card by card and talks about, in the upright and in the reverse position, um, what those mean from Colette's point of view. So this book covers some of that, but it covers much more than just the deck. It talks about some of the philosophies and principles around this whole concept. And I think one of the things that really struck me with this, that still does, and I think is just an incredible concept, is we talk a lot about, who are we? When we do this inner work, we dig deep, we try to figure out who am I really deep down in here? I'm doing this soul work, I'm doing this shadow work, I'm doing this. Who am I, and what is my purpose here? Well, in this context, in the map, what I really enjoy is it talks about where are you and when are you? And boy, that was like, like I never really thought about it that way. So Colette calls this a psycho-spiritual landscape that we have in our mind, that we live in. And we need to identify where we are, where we're living, what that landscape is. Is it stuck in the mud? Is it the dry desert? And when is it? Is it when we were 7? Is it when we were 18 that we're having this emotion or these thoughts? So that is the perspective that this takes. Joseph Campbell talks about myths, our mythology, and the many faces that we put on, the masks that we wear. Carl Jung talks about the masks, our personas. And this is a similar concept in terms of our many environments. And, where are you? What does it look like where you're at? How old are you? What do you see and hear? So that's one of the reasons why I really, really related to the book. And I was so excited. I've kind of put off really getting to know the deck because I wanted to be more personally prepared. So while I read the book, it was the first book I read on my spiritual awakening journey 2 years ago, I then delved into other oracle decks, primarily because Colette, when I started her school, she uses a deck called Wisdom of the Oracle, and that's her teaching deck. And the first course I took was called Personal Mastery. And so that class is about mastering myself first before I would even consider talking to other people about oracle cards and working with other people. And so I just wanted to put that out there. And I'll continue to talk on some of these concepts as we go on and as I journey further into the Enchanted Map. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today is the questions. So I had mentioned in a previous video that these oracle cards are not predictive. They don't predict the future. They're not fortune telling. You co-create your reality with your higher power, whatever you choose to call that. That's between you and your higher power. I do know that my thoughts create my reality, and the stories that I tell about myself and that I may or may not be stuck in create my reality. So, excuse me. My throat gets so dry. Sorry about that. I had to stop the recording because I had to little coughing fit and little tickle in my throat. So now I'm back. So about the question, again, not predictive. You create your reality with your thoughts and your higher power and that whole relationship. So the cards, uh, these oracle cards, help us to tap into uh, that unconscious part of us that often drives our behaviors and can help us to understand why we do what we do. So the cards help us to have a conversation, go deep quickly, a deep conversation about who we are, when we are, why we are. And so the questions need to be more in alignment with that energy. So today I'm going to ask, what do I need to know about the story I tell myself regarding my value? And this comes from, I said I had a difficult 24 hours, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And so this question comes out of some of the prayer and meditation work that I've been doing and journaling. There was some real strong sense of not being of value or being worthy enough, and I'm getting tired of that. Um, that's certainly something that a lot of us can relate to, I'm sure. And when it comes up this strong, it's like, okay, I got to stop and look at this, right? I got to put on the brakes, stop, be, and just kind of go, okay, where am I? So that's going to be my question today. What do I need to know about the story I tell myself regarding my value? And I intend to be an open channel to the wisdom of the universe. I intend to only read and speak the truth for my highest good and the highest good of all. I invite my ancestors and spirit that love me unconditionally, my guides, the divine, my higher self, to be witness to this in love and light. Cards are wanted to come out and talk to me today. No, that didn't work so well. These cards are real stiff, and they're kind of big. I have big hands, so they're kind of hard to shuffle. I try to do the bending as much as I can to get them a little more pliable. Okay. Another protection card. Yay! Because, that's extra medicine, protection reverse. And I actually know this card pretty well. It's called Follow the Leader. Go down here. And of course, I did it in protection that way. I've probably pulled this card half dozen times for myself, and recently have pulled it for somebody, a client of mine that I'm working with. And it's just a beautiful card. There's this green grass, there's a hill, there's the path, which is very similar to the talisman path. It's that nice winding path. There's a beautiful illuminated fairy on the path. There's birds, ducks, geese, and there's a big oak tree at the top of the hill. Big oak tree, strength, And that to me, the oak tree is strength and courage. And there's a clock in the tree, which always makes me think of, it's not about my timing, it's about divine timing, God's time. And there's some flowers in the foreground. Um, so again, I'm going to remind you of my specific question, which is, what do I need to know about the story that I tell myself regarding my value? And so we're going to go ahead and read from the guidebook. And again, I'm just going to read the reversed position. Well, first I'll read you the essence of Follow the Leader. Every life is a teaching tool for others. Your authenticity and honesty are an example to those around you. So in reverse, the Follow the Leader card offers a gentle push to get up and take the lead. In a relationship or partnership, be the one to voice what must be said. Muster your courage and speak your needs aloud. Affirm what you like and what you feel. Don't just hope for someone else to fix the problems you see. If your inquiry is about a career or project, you must take the initiative to draw up a proper plan. And if it's about a personal relationship, you must be clear about your intentions and desires. Boldly begin a discussion about how things really are and how to make the situation work for the highest good of all. Do this as soon as possible. You may be pleasantly surprised by the results. So you can't make this shit up. So just to disclose a little bit, so there was a situation this morning with my wife, and there was a conversation where uh, I had opened the door to the conversation. So I guess in a sense I took the lead, and her response, and what, she voiced her truth, and what was on her mind was what brought up a lot of emotion in me and made me question my value. And it brought up, um, somebody very small and vulnerable. And so that's why I came up with this question today. And it's interesting, the the original question had nothing to do with where the conversation went between the two of us. However, it ended up where we decided that it turned into more of a career or project for me. And I needed to take the initiative to literally draw up a proper plan. And it says, if your inquiry is about a career or project, you must take the initiative to draw up a proper plan. That's why I say you can't make this shit up. I mean, we literally talked about that. I am not somebody that does that. I don't balance my checkbook. Well, in the past, I do now. But I don't plan things. I'm not a planner. I kind of wing it. I'm like, yeah, that feels good. I kind of just go with the flow, kind of, maybe, or then I get indecisive and willy-nilly, and then, oh my God, there's a squirrel. So, and my wife is very, planning, and this is a goal, this is a goal, this is a goal. I'm like, oh, well, maybe goals change, who knows? Um, so so it's interesting, and it's in that reverse position, that extra protection, that extra love. So you must be clear about your intentions and desires. Boldly begin a discussion about how things really are and how to make the situation work for the highest good of all. So it's not just about me, right? It's not just about how is it going to be best for me, because I'm in a relationship. So how is it going to work for both of us? And you know how this relates to the story I tell myself regarding my value is something I'm going to really sit with and contemplate and journal about. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Until then, namaste.